In this lesson, we're going to learn about pentatonic scales. We're going to learn how to construct them, and we're going to learn how to play them. First, let's review. So, what are pentatonic scales? Pentatonic scales are scales that have 5 tones or notes from the tonic to the octave. Penta, meaning 5, describes that there are only 5 notes in the scale. There are many pentatonic scales that we can choose to use, but depending on the context of the progression or chord we are playing will determine which pentatonic scale we will use for improvising. The pentatonic scales have been used in almost all cultures of the world and is widely used in our modern day improvising, found in many styles including blues, rock, jazz, and even classical. Let's first look at the pentatonic scales that are most often used. We will start with the major pentatonic and its 4 modes. Let's first take a look at the C major scale. Remember our major scale formula. We have a whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Well, what that means is if we start on the C note, we need a whole step from C to D, a whole step from D to E. Now here's the 3 and 4 where we have half steps, so E and F are right next to each other. We need another whole step for the 5th degree, so we jump up to G. And then from there, we have another whole step from G to A, another whole step from A to B, and our 7th and 8th degree has a B and C, which is a half step. The major pentatonic is built by simply leaving off 2 notes of the major scale. We simply leave out the 4 and 7. So here's our major pentatonic formula. We take the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, leave out the 4th, add the 5th, the 6th, and eliminate the 7th. So let's take a look at how that will appear. We have a C to D, that's our 1, 2, 3, E, no 4, so there's no F in there. We have a G, which is the 5th, A, which is the 6th, no 7 or 8. So our formula is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. In the key of C major, we take our C, D, E, G, and A. Here's the intervallic map of the major pentatonic scale. Once we map this out and outline it, what we do is we break this up into different shapes or patterns. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to break these up into 5 different patterns or different shapes, whatever you want to call it. Let's take a look at them right now. So here are the 5 shapes of the C major pentatonic scale. We're going to start with our root note, C. So in this shape, we're going to start with our 2nd finger, and we're going to go all the way through each degree. And then we're going to go all the way up to the 6th note, and go all the way back to 5th, 6th, and back onto the C. This next shape, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our 4th finger on the C, and we'll play the shape. The next shape, we're going to start with our second finger on the C. The fourth shape, we're going to start with our first finger on the C note, which is the fourth string, 10th fret. And then we will start with the last shape. We're going to start with the root note C on the 15th fret, 5th string with our fourth finger. So the next shape, we're going to start with our fourth finger on the 6th string, 8th fret. Let me do this slowly. And backwards. So starting on the root note and ending on the root note. Next position or next shape, we're going to start with our second finger on the 8th fret, 6th string. There's our C. And backwards. First position. Next one, we're going to start with this C. This is 4th string, 10th fret, first finger. Now on this one, I do a stretch with my first finger on the 3rd string. So let's take this slowly. And backwards. The next one, we're going to take the 5th string on this 15th fret, 4th finger, 5th string, and we're going to start from there. Start with the root, end with the root. So one thing to remember is that we want to start on the root and end on the root. The second thing is we want to use alternate picking. Now we can try to play some of these chords with this scale. C major 7, C major 6, C major 9, C major 13, C7, C9, and C13. These are only a few of the chords we can play with this scale, but this will give you a good sense of what they sound like over these chords. Let's take a look at the shapes. Here's our C major 7th chord, our C major 6. So remember, all we're doing is for the C major 7, we're using our root, 5, 7, and 3 scale degree. So it'll be a C, G, B, E. To make it a major 6, we eliminate the 7 and add the 6. And be aware of the fingerings. We will go over this on the guitar in a moment, but be aware of the fingerings. C major 9, we're adding the D note, which is a 9th note. C major 13, we have the root, 7, 3, and 13. We can mute this 4th string. We should mute it. And then for C7, We have the flat 7, C9, we add the 9th with a flat 7, 13, we add the flat 7, 9, and we reach up with our 4th finger and add the A note. Here's our C major 7th chord. Our C6, we simply just replace the C with our 2nd finger and put our 1st finger on the A. It's a C6. C major 9. This note here is our 9th note. And a C13, we're going to put our finger here and on the A. It's our C major 13. We also can do a C7, basic C7th chord. We can do a C9 chord, put our 2nd finger here, lay our 3rd finger across. We can get the 13th as well, which is we reach up and grab this A. A lot of times to just leave the root out. And it sounds like that. So play those chords, if you can loop it or whatever, and then practice the scales over the top of them, and it should sound very nice. Enjoy, and we will see you next time.